You could tell he was nervous, and he said it in the courtroom. I saw like his hand shaking a bit.
Diddy stood frozen in court as newly released surveillance footage captured him walking into Kim Porter's room just hours before her untimely death. The footage sheds fresh light on what might have actually happened that night, something neither Diddy nor prosecutors ever expected. Let me break it down for you. The courtroom bombshells and jaw-dropping accusations. For anyone unfamiliar, Kim Porter was Diddy's former girlfriend and the mother of 3 of his kids. Their relationship, filled with ups and downs, stretched from 1994 to 2007. Her 2018 death was officially ruled as lobar pneumonia, natural causes according to the coroner. But here's where the story starts twisting. For years, whispers have surrounded her death, rumors hinting that something more sinister might have occurred. And now, with Diddy facing a storm of legal issues including abuse and trafficking allegations, those whispers are becoming loud questions. The LA County Coroner's Office did perform an autopsy, confirming on January 25, 2019, that Kim died of lobar pneumonia and labeled it natural. That's the official stance. But over time, people close to her have spoken out, painting a different picture. I'll be sure, Kim's ex and father to her son Quincy has been especially outspoken. In a May 2025 interview with Fox 5 New York, he cast doubt on the official narrative, saying, "She was in perfect health. We just seen each other. Celebrating our son's new Netflix Christmas special. She was completely fine." Think about it. If your healthy friend suddenly passed from pneumonia out of nowhere, wouldn't you question it too? It's like saying someone in peak shape collapsed from exhaustion while chilling on the couch. Doesn't add up. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has also raised red flags. In interviews, he's claimed the investigation was rushed, questioning how someone with Kim's connections had no way to call for help. He even hinted at a darker theory, saying cryptically, "I don't want to say what I really think, but maybe they had a spat. Maybe Puff was doing that play fighting stuff again. Maybe he smothered her. But I wouldn't say that out loud." Let that sit with you for a second. When someone that close to Diddy says things like that, it hits hard. That's like Alfred going on air to expose Batman. When it comes from the inside, it cuts deeper. And the plot thickens. Rumors started floating around about someone else being there the day Kim died. That someone? Corey Gamble. Yep, Kris Jenner's man. An old photo has resurfaced that allegedly places Gamble at Kim's house before the coroner even showed up. Social media has been going wild, speculating that Gamble might be one of Hollywood's behind-the-scenes fixers. The connections in Tinseltown run deep. This feels more like 3 degrees of watching Diddy act. Shady than 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. The web of relationships, shady deals, and alleged cover-ups is dizzying. For balance, Kim's family has always rejected foul play theories. Her kids, Christian, 26, Jesse, 17, Delilah, 17, and Quincy, 33, released a public statement in September 2024, standing by the coroner's report and denouncing claims that Kim was working on a tell-all book. But here's where it gets even murkier. In 2024, a book dropped called Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. It claimed to be based on Kim's private diary and was published by Chris Todd under the alias Jamal T. Millwood. The book accused Diddy of horrifying abuse and detailed disturbing stories about their relationship. In an interview with The Art of Dialogue, Todd made bold claims, saying he has tapes so explosive, their release would shut down the entertainment industry. His words, "If I release those tapes, the world would shut down." That's a serious threat, like holding the Hollywood equivalent of nuclear codes. But not everyone's buying it. The book's legitimacy has been called into question, with Kim's children calling it a fraud and critics doubting Todd's motives. Still, the sheer number of allegations stacking up against Diddy is impossible to ignore. Perhaps the most damning piece of evidence yet comes from another ex, Cassie Ventura. A 2016 surveillance clip obtained by CNN shows Diddy physically assaulting her at a luxury hotel in LA. The video is disturbing. He's seen grabbing, dragging, shoving, and kicking her. And this time, Diddy couldn't deny it. He publicly apologized, plain and simple.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. Disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now.
Let's keep it real for a moment. When a man whose whole identity is built around being suave, powerful and always in control is caught on video assaulting a woman, that's not just a slip-up. It's the curtain getting pulled back on something far more sinister. The Cassie case doesn't boil down to one isolated event. In her lawsuit and sworn testimony, she described years of physical and sexual abuse, allegedly being pushed into things she never consented to, including a rape in August 2018. The experiences she shared are gut-wrenching and deeply disturbing. Now, there's something we need to talk about, something that's come up over and over again during this case: the so-called freak-offs. These were private parties reportedly filled with explicit encounters. I'm not going into graphic detail, but based on Cassie's account, these weren't just wild parties. They blurred or completely ignored the idea of consent. Cassie said these events made her feel like nothing more than a sex worker. Though, that specific statement was later removed from the court record. But here's the real question. If Diddy could do this to Cassie, what might have gone on with Kim Porter? And it doesn't stop there. Other voices have spoken up too. Dawn Richard, a singer who once worked closely with Diddy, testified that he threatened to make her disappear after she saw him assault Cassie. That lines up with the claims of witness intimidation and paints a disturbing pattern of fear and control. Cassie's mother, Regina Ventura, also took the stand and backed up her daughter's story. She described how physically sick she felt over Combs' threats, which included the release of private footage. Regina even took photos of Cassie's bruises from Christmas Eve 2011. Injuries she claims came from beatings by Combs. At this point, the evidence isn't just stacking, it's spilling over. Hiding it would be like trying to shove an elephant under a cocktail napkin. But now, let's circle back to Kim Porter. Beyond the coroner's official cause of death and the conflicting memories from people who knew her well, there's that strange book allegedly based on her own writings. According to Chris Todd, the book contains serious allegations, including claims that Diddy was physically violent with Kim, even breaking her nose during a yacht incident. Mark Curry, a former Bad Boy artist, also alleged that Diddy broke Kim's nose, stating,
"They tried to make it seem like she slipped and fell. She slipped and fell and broke her nose. Nah, if the truth was she slipped and fell and landed on his fist."
Mark Curry made another deeply unsettling claim that Diddy had wiretapped Kim Porter's phone. He called it straight-up madness, saying, "Any man who goes out of his way to tap someone's phone or bug their home just to monitor conversations, that's insanity. Imagine needing to control someone so badly that you start spying on their private calls. That's not love. That's villain-level obsession straight out of a psychological thriller." And it gets darker. According to what's said in that controversial memoir, Porter may have found extremely disturbing material hidden away in Diddy's bedroom vault, allegedly videotapes with compromising content. So shocked by what she saw, Porter supposedly made copies, just in case she ever chose to walk away. Now, let's tread lightly here. But if even part of that's true, it raises huge questions about what Porter might have uncovered. Chris Todd, who claims to have received Porter's memoir, said he was offered access to the tapes, one of which allegedly involved a teenage pop star. He added that Porter's friends, who helped him get the manuscript, also held copies and had even tried pitching them to Hollywood documentary producers. If even remotely real, that's like finding a vault of buried secrets and then hitting record. Now, zooming out, Diddy's legal troubles paint a much bigger, far more dangerous picture. As of May 20th, 2025, Diddy is on trial for sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transporting individuals for prostitution. We're not talking about minor infractions here. These are charges that could land him in prison for life. The trial is entering its second week, and the testimony, it's been jaw-dropping. Cassie Ventura spent 4 days on the stand, emotionally, detailing years of violence and forced encounters. The courtroom was frozen. Jurors leaning in, stunned, silent. The power imbalance can't be ignored here. Diddy signed Cassie to his Bad Boy label when she was just 19, already holding massive influence over her career. She testified that abuse blocked her from doing the things she truly wanted to pursue, revealing she had to undergo 45 days of PTSD treatment in 2023 to begin healing from the trauma. Imagine having your life and future locked down by the same person causing your pain. It's like trying to escape a maze where every path loops back to your abuser. And prosecutors aren't just charging Diddy for isolated acts. They're using RICO, meaning they see a full-blown criminal enterprise. So, what does this mean for Kim Porter's story? The parallels between what Cassie described and what insiders say happened with Porter are hard to ignore. Remember Curry's claim about Diddy breaking Porter's nose? That's not just shocking. It suggests a pattern of abuse and possible cover-ups. And where there's one cover-up, there could be more. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, made other disturbing claims too. In one incident, he said Porter injured Diddy with a corkscrew in self-defense, cutting his wrist so badly it allegedly led to opioid abuse. Deal claimed, when she split his wrist open, the pain had him hooked forever. If true, that paints a relationship not just with conflict, but with survival tactics. Deal also questioned the events around Porter's death: no autopsy, missing electronics, and a gold casket ordered well in advance. "How you order a gold casket 2 months before someone dies, man?" he asked. And I'll be sure Porter's ex and Quincy's father went public with his concerns. In a post from September 2024, he demanded an official investigation into the people around Porter at the time of her death, including her publicists. He even claimed they were ordered to steal her computer and mobile devices, allegedly to hide her original book notes. That's a big deal, especially if those devices contained the copies of the alleged tapes she made. Now, here's the other side of the story. Porter's children, Christian, Jesse, Delilah, and Quincy, have all firmly denied any foul play in their mother's death. In a public statement, they said, "While it's been heartbreaking to lose her so soon, her cause of death has long been confirmed. There was no foul play." This opens a complex divide. On one side, you've got insiders making shocking claims. On the other, you have her children, who not only lost their mother, but were partially raised by Diddy, defending both the official narrative and him. That dual loyalty creates emotional and moral tension. But the most chilling twist may come from the tapes reportedly found in Porter's memoir. Allegedly, these show Diddy in explicit situations with various individuals. Even more shocking, attorney Ariel Mitchell claimed there are 3 tapes featuring Diddy and A-list celebrities. In an interview, she revealed,
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes.
She also mentioned
There already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood.
if those tapes really do exist, they could help explain why certain figures in Hollywood may have gone out of their way to shield Diddy or help bury allegations against him. It's the ultimate form of leverage. If I go down, I'm taking everyone with me. And when it comes to cover-ups, let's not forget the massive federal raid on Diddy's properties. Homeland Security investigations. Special Agent Gerard Gannon testified about the March 25, 2024 raid on Diddy's Miami Beach mansion. What they found was jaw-dropping: lingerie, platform heels, AR-15 components, and loaded magazines with scratched-off serial numbers. The estate was so massive, 20,000 square feet, that it took between 80 and 90 agents to fully search it. So, how does this connect to Kim Porter? It highlights the scope of Diddy's power, his wealth, and the resources he had access to. This is someone who didn't just live large. He lived fortified, protected, and with enough influence to bend situations in his favor. Now, his legal team does acknowledge his temper and aggressive behavior, but they argue these incidents, especially with exes like Ventura, were part of messy, toxic, yet consensual relationships. Their angle is, yes, it was bad, but not criminal. But when multiple women tell eerily similar stories and video evidence backs them up, that defense begins to crumble. Now, tying this back to Kim Porter again, we need to talk about the disturbing events known as freak-offs, which Cassie described during her testimony. These were private, high-end gatherings with blurred boundaries and questionable consent. Cassie said she felt like a sex worker during these events. And Porter's alleged memoir? It referenced similar parties, intimate, elite gatherings disguised as celebrity social events. She allegedly mentioned encounters involving other famous individuals, including a well-known married woman. Then there's the issue of the payouts. Cassie settled with Diddy for $20 million and also secured another $10 million settlement with a hotel over the 2016 assault incident. That's $30 million total, sums that most people never see in a lifetime. The size of these payouts raises a critical question. How much more might Diddy have paid to keep other stories buried? And while he may have once been able to buy silence this time, it appears he's up against forces with more money, more power, and a personal vendetta. Now let's zoom out to the bigger picture. The entertainment world has a dark history of shielding powerful men from accountability. Think Weinstein, R. Kelly, and countless others. Diddy didn't just control a music empire, he was plugged into the worlds of fashion, liquor, TV, and politics. He was rubbing shoulders with top-tier celebrities, executives, and public officials. That kind of reach creates a powerful force field of protection, making it incredibly difficult for victims to speak up and be believed. Imagine you're a young artist and you witness or experience something horrifying involving Diddy. Who do you turn to? His industry friends, executives who profit from him, journalists who rely on his connections. The system is wired to guard the powerful, not the powerless. And speaking of power, let's talk about a legal battle that may have been the beginning of Diddy's unraveling. In May 2023, Diddy sued Diageo, one of the world's biggest liquor companies, accusing them of racial discrimination. He claimed the company had marginalized his brands, Ciroc Vodka and De Leon Tequila, limiting distribution to certain neighborhoods and favoring other products. Diageo responded by severing their 15-year partnership in June 2023, blaming Diddy's bad faith actions. Diddy didn't back down. He filed another lawsuit in October, this time accusing Diageo of retaliation and blackballing him from the spirits industry. Then came an unexpected twist. In January 2024, both sides announced they had reached a settlement. Diddy withdrew all allegations and the lawsuits were dismissed, but rapper 50 Cent has his own theory. On the Earn Your Leisure podcast, he said Diddy's downfall accelerated after that battle with Diageo. According to him, this wasn't just about booze, it was about crossing powerful people. And once you do that, the fallout can come fast and hard.
It's great for us to work for them. It is not so cool when you start to own things. You see what I'm saying? So I made a lot of money with them too. Like, there's a point, they did a deal that mirrored what Puffy's deal with Diageo was for Ciroc. So he didn't have ownership of that at any point.
50 Cent went on to say,
When you see him go to De Leon is when you see him have some issues.
and perhaps most tellingly,
It gets bad. You know, and these people have really strong relationships. Don't think that the civil case doesn't turn into a criminal case faster because he's making them uncomfortable.
ChatGPT said, what 50 Cent appears to be implying is that by challenging a powerful corporate giant like Diageo, Diddy may have effectively stripped away the shield that his fame and industry alliances once provided. It's as if he provoked a sleeping giant, and that giant chose to stop shielding him from those waiting to take him down. While this remains speculative, it does raise compelling questions about how the entertainment industry's internal power plays may have protected Diddy for years, only to later abandon him once those relationships soured. And speaking of those, sounding the alarm, another outspoken figure is Jaguar Wright. She has openly suggested that Diddy may be connected to the mysterious deaths of several people once close to him.
Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only two left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
in a 2022 interview, she made some stunning claims and went on to ask,
Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning is gone.
If the claims are true, the pattern is undeniably disturbing. Heavy D passed away in 2011, reportedly from a heart attack. Andre Harrell died in 2020, also said to be from a heart attack. According to Jaguar Wright, both were working on books before their unexpected deaths. Then there's Al B. Who allegedly fell into a coma while writing his memoir, though he thankfully survived. And Kim Porter, who some believe was also working on a tell-all before her death, adds another layer to this unsettling narrative. Are these merely tragic coincidences, or could there be something more sinister going on? It's the kind of sequence that makes people start connecting dots like a conspiracy board on a wall. Focusing more closely on Kim Porter, if we analyze the allegations surrounding Diddy, physical abuse, control, intimidation, they raise serious questions about his relationship with her and the circumstances around her passing. Though Porter and Diddy had ended their romantic involvement long before her death, they were still tied through their children. But if the allegations are credible, they suggest Diddy as someone who doesn't easily let go without consequences. The rumored memoir linked to Porter is also telling. In it, she allegedly wrote, "I got to do things with Shaw I would never have been able to do with a straight man. I woke up and left the bedroom where I was, and Shaw happened to be coming out of another bedroom with a chart-topping rapper and the woman's husband." The same book reportedly recounts disturbing moments of physical abuse, including the first time Diddy allegedly hit her after she refused a request, and an incident where he slammed her to the floor and threatened her with a weapon, saying, "You're mine, you don't have a choice in that. Now I can't live without you." If true, these accounts paint a deeply troubling picture of a toxic, controlling relationship, eerily similar to the claims made by Cassie. They also raise serious doubts about whether Porter's death might be tied to what she knew or intended to reveal. According to Al B., sure, if she was indeed preparing to speak out, it would have been a courageous yet dangerous move. What's clear is that this case is peeling back the curtain on a darker side of the music industry, one where power is often misused, victims are silenced and carefully maintained. Public images conceal disturbing private realities. Once celebrated as a cultural icon and the mastermind behind Bad Boy Records, Diddy now finds himself incarcerated at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, facing grave charges of racketeering conspiracy and exploitation. His time in prison has stripped away the opulence and revealed a much starker reality. According to his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, one of the hardest parts of Diddy's incarceration has surprisingly been the food. Since his detainment on September 17, 2024, Diddy has been held at MDC Brooklyn, a federal facility known for housing high-profile inmates and equally well known for its controversial conditions. For someone used to designer meals and luxury, living the institution's daily routine is a harsh wake-up call. Inmates are roused at 6 a.m. with a breakfast of cereal, toast, fruit, and cake. Lunch follows at 11 a.m., and dinner comes after a 4 p.m. head count. Typical meals include options like Swedish meatballs, black bean burgers, egg noodles, and green beans, worlds apart from the culinary indulgences Diddy once enjoyed. Agnifilo describes the food as the most difficult adjustment, painting a vivid contrast between celebrity privilege and institutional survival. The prison fare is often bland, highly processed, and lacking in nutritional value, hardly ideal for someone concerned about their health and physical image. This transition from gourmet to government-issued meals underscores the broader psychological toll of incarceration. And beyond food, the facility's conditions are grim. MDC Brooklyn has faced criticism for overcrowding, inadequate healthcare, and poor mental health support. Inmates frequently share cramped cells, sacrificing any sense of privacy, an especially jarring shift for someone accustomed to mansions and retreats. Altogether, Diddy's fall from grace reveals the brutal disconnect between his former world of luxury and the cold, rigid reality of prison life. Diddy, enduring the pressure of a high-profile legal fight without proper support systems, faces a psychological burden intensified by incarceration. Isolated from the outside world and uncertain about his future, the mental toll is immense. He's being held at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, the same facility that previously housed Ghislaine Maxwell and R. Kelly. Despite its unassuming appearance, the prison has a notorious reputation marred by violence, filth, and chronic understaffing. Diddy is currently in solitary confinement for protection, but concerns remain about whether he will survive until trial. The memory of Jeffrey Epstein, another accused sex trafficker who died mysteriously in custody, only deepens the fear. The facility has seen multiple suicides and even a murder earlier this year. Reports suggest maggots in the food, stabbings as frequent as weekly, and conditions that could break anyone's spirit. One inmate even claimed someone was stabbed in the eye with a makeshift blade. Diddy's legal team has voiced serious concerns about his well-being, pointing to the mental and physical impact of these conditions. The situation worsened when he was placed on suicide watch, indicating severe emotional distress. His lawyers proposed a $50 million bond, secured by properties in Florida and the surrender of all passports, but U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin Tanowski denied the request. Prosecutors, led by U.S. Attorney Damian Williams, argued that Diddy was a danger to the community, citing his wealth, influence, alleged substance abuse, and violent tendencies. They warned that even house arrest wouldn't guarantee public safety. Their claims were supported by extensive evidence, including witness testimonies and electronic data from Diddy's devices. The courtroom was filled with tension as Diddy's Tsaro family arrived, making a strong public statement of support. His twin daughters and mother attended, filling 2 rows and showing unity. Diddy appeared relaxed, blowing a kiss to his mother and saying, I love you," as he exited the courtroom. But this support can't shield him from the gravity of the charges. His legal troubles began before his arrest on September 16, 2024, when investigations into his businesses, Bad Boy Records, and Sean John exposed alleged tax evasion and money laundering. At the same time, former collaborators sued him over unpaid royalties and contract breaches, tarnishing his image. While maintaining a public front through music releases and appearances, pressure mounted behind closed doors. Authorities built a detailed case, even probing connections to organized crime. Despite hiring a powerful legal team and preparing for battle, Diddy now finds himself trapped in one of America's toughest jails, facing a storm of allegations that could bring his empire crashing down. With the possibility of an arrest drawing closer, tensions exploded in early September 2024 when federal agents raided multiple properties tied to Diddy. These raids were part of a deeper investigation and led to the confiscation of documents and electronic devices suspected to hold evidence of financial wrongdoing, sending shockwaves through the entertainment world and signaling that things were coming to a head. On September 16, 2024, federal agents executed Diddy's arrest warrant at his Los Angeles home in a well-coordinated operation. Among the many people who filed lawsuits against him, Thalia Graves became the 11th to accuse him of non-consensual sexual activity. In her September 2024 lawsuit, she claimed the incident occurred back in 2001 at Diddy's New York recording studio, where she had been invited under the impression they'd be discussing her music career. Instead, she alleges Diddy and one of his employees restrained her and assaulted her, and that the entire event was secretly filmed and later sold as pornography, an act that traumatized her and disrupted her life for years. As Diddy's legal troubles unfolded, another major scandal broke. New York Mayor Eric Adams, who once awarded Diddy the keys to the city, was indicted on 5 federal charges. Speculation had started in early 2023 around potential campaign finance violations, particularly concerning illegal foreign donations from Turkey linked to his 2021 mayoral campaign. The investigation picked up speed, culminating on September 26, 2024, when federal agents searched Gracie Mansion, the mayor's residence. The scandal deepened as several officials, including the deputy mayor, resigned, and the timing of these events led people to speculate about possible connections between Adams' indictment and Diddy's arrest. Meanwhile, a decades-old mystery resurfaced: Diddy's possible link to the murder of Tupac Shakur. Tupac's family enlisted high-profile attorney Alex Spiro to help reopen the case, giving fresh momentum to the pursuit of justice. Spiro's investigation focuses on new and existing evidence, including bombshell claims made by Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who alleged that Diddy once offered him $1 million to kill Tupac. If proven true, this could change the legacy of not just Diddy, but the entire hip-hop industry, challenging long-held narratives and reshaping the way history remembers this era. Another high-profile accusation against Diddy came from music producer Lil Rod Jones, who filed a 100-page lawsuit filled with shocking allegations. Rod, a talented up-and-coming producer, claimed Diddy reached out in August 2022 and invited him to help with his long-awaited project, the Love album Off the Grid. Though it seemed like a dream opportunity, Rod said it quickly turned into a nightmare. Between September 2022 and November 2023, Rod allegedly helped produce 9 songs for the album. But during that time, Diddy reportedly required Rod to live, with him resulting in him missing family events, birthdays, and holidays. The lawsuit claims Rod endured and witnessed serious misconduct, including exploitation, drug distribution, providing laced drinks to minors, and more. The shocking part is that Diddy wasn't the only high-profile figure named. The lawsuit also implicated Oscar-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr., known for his role in Boys and the Hood. Rod alleged Diddy coerced him into a sexual encounter with Cuba, who also allegedly groped him. Cuba, who has faced previous allegations of sexual misconduct, has since responded publicly to defend himself.
Was mentioned in the Diddy case.
Which was the most ridiculous thing ever.
Because you barely know
This is
him,
the
right?
most ridiculous thing ever. But again, welcome to being a celebrity.
ChatGPT said, despite claiming to hardly know Diddy and dismissing the case as ridiculous, the lawsuit includes images that seem to show Cuba Gooding Jr. getting extremely close with Lil Rod. Honestly, the person in the photo does resemble Cuba, and with his hands visibly all over Rod, it makes the accusations against him seem less far-fetched. Beyond Cuba, several other high-profile names are mentioned in Rod's lawsuit, including world-renowned pastor Bishop T.D. Jakes. According to the claims, Diddy allegedly used Jakes to help repair his image after the Cassie Ventura scandal. While this doesn't directly accuse Jakes of criminal activity, it raised eyebrows about why he was so closely linked to someone with Diddy's wild reputation. In 2022, a video that went viral on Facebook showed Jakes attending Diddy's 53rd birthday bash. Even without the alleged crimes, Diddy's parties have long been associated with excessive and controversial behavior, so many were shocked to see a pastor at such an event. Jakes' spokesperson later explained that he only stopped by briefly, because he was in town, but the damage to public perception had already been done. A major theme in many of the lawsuits against Diddy is the extreme sexual nature of his gatherings, often called freak-offs, which allegedly feature explicit acts, including those of a homosexual nature. Critics argue it's completely inappropriate for a pastor to be present at such events, and most people would agree. While we may never know what exactly went down at Diddy's 53rd birthday, his former security guard Gene Deal had some strong opinions. Deal, who witnessed many of these gatherings, said that while the outrageous activities used to happen behind closed doors, they now occur openly, implying that Bishop Jakes would have definitely seen questionable things. Here's what Deal had to say about it.
Maybe fornicating, maybe, like I said, men on men, women on women. It's hard to put in perspective unless he's involving himself what is actually going on at the party.
Cuba Gooding Jr. and Bishop T.D. Jakes are just two of the many notable figures mentioned in Lil Rod's lawsuit, though several other names were redacted, fueling widespread speculation. Since the lawsuit surfaced in February, one name that keeps coming up is Meek Mill, with many believing he might be one of the unnamed individuals. The speculation intensified after a leaked audio clip began circulating online, which some claim features Diddy engaging in a sexual act with Meek. In response, Meek Mill denied both the old and new allegations, stating, "The two things they say, we snitching or we gay. We're generating hundreds of millions from music. It's not a coincidence we're all gay and snitches." Although Meek seems to have more to share, he's likely holding back to protect his image, especially considering how such claims are viewed in the hip-hop community. Cassie, another key figure in this unfolding saga, previously filed a lawsuit against Diddy, which was quietly settled out of court. But she isn't alone. In Lil Rod's legal filing, he also accused Young Miami and her cousin of engaging in disturbing behavior. According to the lawsuit, on November 23, 2022, during a chaotic studio session filled with loud music, partying, and substance use, a reportedly intoxicated Diddy offered Lil Rod cocaine, which he declined. Wanting to get away, Lil Rod went to the restroom, where he alleges the incident occurred. He claims Young Miami's cousin, said to be her assistant, suddenly entered, groped him without consent, and then performed oral sex on him. Lil Rod believes Diddy orchestrated the encounter. When he tried to leave, she allegedly followed him, began undressing, and tried to straddle him in front of Diddy and his staff. He managed to escape, but the traumatic experience prompted him to seek legal justice. That case is still pending, and no judgment has been issued against Diddy yet. Meanwhile, media personality Jason Lee stirred even more controversy by revealing that he once attended a gathering at Diddy's lavish home where both Jay-Z and Bishop T.D. Jakes were present. While Jason claimed he didn't witness anything suspicious, the presence of such high-profile figures at one of Diddy's parties sparked fresh curiosity, especially given the fact that both Jay-Z and Jakes have remained silent since Diddy's arrest, a silence that many find suspicious. The buzz around Diddy's so-called freak-off parties only grew when Khloe Kardashian admitted to attending one. In a 2014 clip from Keeping Up with the Kardashians, she told Kourtney about the wild event, recalling how she took a 5:30 a.m. flight and described the party by saying, Half the people there were naked. You would have loved it. Her statement added further weight to claims that Diddy frequently hosted over-the-top and explicit gatherings involving celebrities. With so many disturbing accounts and mounting allegations, the question remains, will Diddy ultimately be convicted and sentenced, or will he walk away from these serious accusations without facing legal consequences?